Your instincts are telling you loudly, something feels off. She is not the same woman you married, and you cannot exactly identify what has shifted. Before you begin spying on her phone or paying for costly private detectives, there is one clever psychological method that experts rely on to spot unfaithfulness without your wife ever realizing you are paying attention. It is known as behavioral delta analysis, and it will completely transform how you think about discovering a cheating partner. Delta is a math concept that stands for difference or change. In cases of suspected cheating, behavioral delta means the clear differences between a person's usual conduct and their present actions. Picture it like a before and after snapshot of your wife's character, routines, and everyday habits. The human mind is designed to notice patterns, and when someone is leading a double life, keeping everything consistent becomes mentally draining. This mental strain creates visible breaks in their act. Here is why it is important. When your wife is loyal, her actions follow reliable patterns. She has regular habits, emotional reactions, ways of talking, and daily routines that you have seen for months or even years. These patterns create her normal behavioral baseline. When cheating begins, she is suddenly handling two entirely separate lives. She is showing one version of herself to you and a different version to someone else. The mental effort of remembering which personality to display, which stories she has told, and which facts to hide generates pressure that shows up as noticeable shifts in behavior. Professional investigators do not search for a single obvious clue. They look for groups of behavioral deltas appearing at the same time. When 3, 4, or 5 meaningful changes take place within a fairly short period, the chance of infidelity rises sharply. Let me explain the exact deltas you should monitor, and more importantly, how to notice them without making her suspicious. The first important delta concerns her interaction with technology. This is not about whether she guards her phone. Most people value some privacy with their gadgets. What you need to notice is a sudden change in that protective habit. Did she previously leave her phone face up on the table, and now it is always turned face down? Did she once charge it beside the bed, and now it vanishes with her into the bathroom? These are not minor adjustments. They are behavioral deltas that suggest she is safeguarding something new. But here is where many people go wrong. They concentrate on the phone itself when they should be observing the behaviors connected to the phone. Pay attention to what she does when a notification comes in. Does she quickly turn the phone over? Does she tilt the screen away from you before checking it? Does she now step into another room to answer calls that she used to take right in front of you? The important part is comparison. What was her phone behavior 3 months ago versus what it is today? There is one particular reaction pattern that is very hard to pretend. When someone gets a message from their secret partner while you are close by, their body reacts before their mind can hide it. There is a brief flash of excitement or eagerness that crosses their face for less than a second. Then they quickly try to make their expression normal again. You may see her eyes brighten when she looks at the screen, followed right away by a forced calm look or even a pretend serious face. This excitement control pattern is a strong delta because real messages from work, friends, or family usually do not cause that same quick spark of excitement followed by deliberate effort to hide the emotion. The second key delta appears in how she presents herself. Before you assume anything about her starting exercise or purchasing new outfits, know that the delta lies in the reason and the speed of the change. A woman who chooses to improve her health and buys fitness clothes because she wants to feel good about herself makes steady, gradual shifts over several weeks or months. A woman motivated by someone new makes fast and striking changes that seem to occur all at once. Look for what I call the transformation cluster. She suddenly starts caring about her looks in ways that do not match her usual interests. She is purchasing intimate clothing she never wears with you. She is trying new makeup styles. She is exercising at particular hours and gets upset if those hours are interrupted. The main thing to watch is whether these changes are meant for you or appear created for someone else's attention. If she is dressing up more but you are spending less time seeing her, that is a major delta. There is a psychological effect happening here that is worth knowing. When someone enters an affair, they feel what experts call emotional energization. The thrill of a new relationship produces real shifts in mood, self-confidence, and how they see themselves. She may appear happier, more energetic, and more self-assured than she has been in a long time. The painful twist is that this fresh happiness is not coming from your marriage. It is the affair that is giving her that radiance. This is why people involved in affairs often say that cheaters seem younger, more lively, and more appealing. The behavioral delta you are seeing is genuine positive change, but it is coming from the wrong source. The third major delta relates to her timetable and how she manages time. Cheating needs time, and that time must be taken from somewhere. The question is, where is she taking it from? Professional investigators use a method called timeline mapping. You will do something similar but in a quiet way. Start quietly tracking when she says she will be at a place and when she actually returns home. Do not question her. Do not accuse her. Simply observe. Affairs follow regular time schedules because meeting a lover requires planning and opportunity. Notice any new routines that were not there earlier. Perhaps she now has a regular weekly outing with friends when she never had one before. Perhaps she is staying late at work on certain days that used to be her early days. Perhaps she has joined a new group or started helping at specific times. The delta is not that she has new activities. The delta is that these activities started suddenly, occur at fixed times, and she gets unusually protective if you offer to join her or if anything interferes with that exact time slot. Here is one clear behavioral sign that nearly every unfaithful spouse shows. When you casually ask about these new activities, notice how much detail she gives. People who are lying usually give either far too many details or far too few. If she is truly at her book club, she will mention it naturally. Oh, we covered chapters 5 through 8. Karen brought awful wine again. If she is lying, she will either give an overly long description of every moment or she will stay vaguely short. We just talked about the book. It was okay. The delta here is in the type and amount of information compared to how she normally describes her day. The fourth delta is emotional, and it is the most dependable sign of all. This one needs you to know basic psychology of deception. When someone is constantly lying to you, they feel what is called cognitive dissonance. They realize their actions are wrong, yet they continue anyway. To ease this mental discomfort, the mind uses a process called blame shifting. Watch for what I call the irritability spike. If your wife is cheating, she may start criticizing you more for things that never upset her earlier. She may start arguments over tiny matters. She may seem constantly bothered by you being around. Here is the reason this occurs. Her mind is trying to excuse her betrayal by turning you into the bad guy in the relationship. If she can make herself believe that you are not good enough, boring, or hard to live with, then her affair feels justified. She is not the one doing wrong. She is simply a woman looking for happiness. This mental defense creates visible behavioral deltas in the way she deals with you. The exact pattern to notice is sudden irritability combined with emotional distance. She may get angry at you for leaving a plate out when she used to ignore it. She may comment negatively on your clothes, your interests, or your friends in ways she never did before. The delta is not that you argue sometimes. Every couple argues. The delta is that her patience for normal relationship issues has dropped sharply, and her emotional warmth toward you has disappeared. Now here is where behavioral delta analysis becomes really powerful. Combine this irritability with another delta, emotional distance. Is she avoiding looking you in the eyes? Studies show that keeping eye contact while lying adds extra mental effort. People naturally look away more from those they are deceiving. Does she seem lost in thought when you speak? Does she end talks quickly? Does she prefer going to bed at different times or avoid closeness? These are not simply marriage troubles. When they start suddenly and appear together, they point toward infidelity. The fifth delta involves her circle of friends and how she acts around shared acquaintances. Cheating needs hiding, and hiding often needs helpers, even if they do not realize it. Observe how your wife's friends behave when they are near you. Do they look uneasy? Do they avoid your eyes? Do they act overly nice to cover it up? Your wife's close friends usually know about the affair before you do. Their awkwardness around you is a secondary behavioral delta that supports what you have noticed about your wife. Here is a particular method investigators apply. Listen to how your wife speaks about common friends or other couples. If she is involved in an affair, she may suddenly criticize other marriages more, highlighting problems in other relationships, or talk negatively about loyalty. This is another type of mental justification. By making relationship troubles and cheating seem normal, she builds a mental picture where her own actions do not stand out as unusual. The sixth delta is financial, and it can be seen without checking bank records. Affairs require money. Presents, hotel stays, meals, new outfits, that money has to come from somewhere. You do not need a financial expert to spot financial deltas. Notice small changes in spending habits. Does she use cash more often when she previously used cards? Does she have receipts in her car from locations she said she never visited? Does she suddenly insist on doing errands by herself when you used to go together? Does she offer to handle the shopping when she used to dislike it? The behavioral delta here is not the spending. It is the hiding around spending. A loyal wife who buys herself a drink has no reason to conceal the receipt. A cheating wife who bought her lover lunch during what she called a work meeting definitely has a reason to hide that receipt. Watch for protective actions around her bag, her car, and her pockets. Watch for her throwing away trash more often or being extra careful about cleaning her car. These are actions meant to remove evidence. Now let us discuss the most essential behavioral delta of all, and this one needs good emotional awareness to catch. It is what investigators call presence versus absence. Your wife can be sitting right beside you on the sofa, but she is not truly there. Her thoughts are somewhere else. Her focus is split. Her emotional energy is aimed elsewhere. This delta shows itself in many little ways. She does not smile at things that once made her smile. She does not join conversations the way she used to. She does not ask about your day with real interest. She does not open up about her own ideas and feelings like before. When you share something meaningful, she forgets it because she was not actually paying attention. The behavioral delta here is that the emotional closeness you once shared has been replaced by being physically near, without any real mental connection. She is living in your home, but she is living in someone else's thoughts. Here is how to track all these deltas without alerting her. First, you must manage your own feelings. The moment you begin acting doubtful, questioning her, or accusing her, you lose your edge. Cheating spouses who sense they are being watched become much more cautious. They remove proof, build stronger excuses, and sometimes pause the affair for a while to mislead you. Instead, act like a researcher observing a subject. Stay calm, stay watchful. Keep mental records of the changes you see, but do not confront based only on suspicion. When she mentions being somewhere, casually respond with something like, "Sounds nice, how was it?" Listen carefully to what she says. When she returns home later than planned, do not argue. Just take note. When her phone alerts and she reacts oddly, remember that moment, but do not show any reaction right then. Create what investigators call a behavioral journal. You do not need to write anything she could discover. Just use a notes app on your phone with a neutral title like Daily Reminders or Ideas List. Write down dates, times, and the specific behavioral deltas you notice. Monday, March 4th, said she had yoga at 7, arrived home at 9:30, looked annoyed when I asked about it, gave a short, unclear reply. This record helps in two ways. First, it lets you spot repeated patterns that single events might hide. Second, if you later need proof, you will have a clear timeline. Here is a vital point that many overlook. The lack of behavioral deltas also tells you something. If you watch your wife carefully and fairly compare her actions to her usual baseline, and you see no major shifts, no groups of deltas, no signs of hiding, then your worries may not be based on reality. Behavioral delta analysis works in both directions. It can support your doubts, but it can also give you peace of mind when the evidence does not back up your fears. Let us discuss what to do once you have noticed several behavioral deltas appearing together. First, realize that observing behavioral deltas does not give you definite proof of a physical affair. What it provides is strong evidence of ongoing deception. The deception could be a romantic affair, but it might also be an emotional connection that has not turned physical or some other secret she is keeping. The behavioral signs are similar because the mental process of keeping up a long-term lie is the same no matter what is being concealed. Before you confront her, you have options. You can keep watching to collect more details. You can bring in a professional investigator who can find solid proof. You can speak with a family lawyer to learn your legal choices, or you can try to have an open talk with your wife about the changes you have seen. Each choice has benefits and drawbacks, and the best one depends on your personal situation and what you hope to achieve. If you decide to confront her using only behavioral delta observation, understand that you are starting without direct hard evidence. You have patterns, shifts, and indirect signs. A good liar can make you doubt yourself, convincing you that you are imagining things. She can give reasonable explanations for each single delta. This is why seeing them together is crucial. One or two changes can easily be explained as coincidence. 5 or 6 happening at the same time, especially changes that experts recognize as common infidelity signals, become much harder to dismiss. Here is the basic psychological idea behind everything we have covered. Human beings are creatures of routine. We build habits, emotional patterns, and social schedules. These patterns stay steady because they feel safe and need little mental energy. When someone adds a big secret to their life, especially one as demanding as an affair, keeping all their old patterns becomes very difficult. The behavioral deltas you notice are not accidental. They are the natural breaks that appear when someone tries to live 2 different lives at once. The most important thing to remember about behavioral delta analysis is that it honors your natural intuition while asking for real observations to support your concerns. Your feeling that something is wrong may be correct, but feelings alone are not sufficient. By carefully watching the changes and comparing them to her past normal behavior, you are turning unclear worry into recorded patterns. You are regaining control in a situation where you felt helpless. You are collecting information that lets you make smart choices about your relationship and your future. One last important note. This method works because it is quiet observation, not secret spying. You are not breaking into her privacy. You are not checking her phone. You are not following her. You are simply noticing the woman you married and recording when and how she has changed. This is information you could notice just by being attentive. The difference is that now you are doing it intentionally, with knowledge of what the specific changes suggest, and with records that help you see the bigger picture over time. Remember, the purpose is not to become overly suspicious or to treat every tiny shift as proof of betrayal. The purpose is to move from worried confusion to clear understanding. If your wife is loyal, behavioral delta analysis will show steady and consistent behavior. If she is hiding something, the method will reveal patterns that group together in ways that are unlikely to be random. Either way, you will have facts instead of fear, and those facts will allow you to choose the next steps that fit your situation and your principles. Your marriage deserves truth. Your peace of mind deserves clarity, and you deserve to decide based on what you can actually see rather than fear, avoidance, or false hope. Behavioral delta analysis is the one method that lets you detect signs of a cheating wife without her knowing, without invading her privacy, and without spending money on investigators. It is simply you, your ability to observe, and your willingness to see the real situation instead of what you wish were true.